In today's video, I'm going to be answering the question, what is more important in the NBA, offense or defense? And in today's video, I'm just going to be analyzing the two sides, coming up with cases, and at the end of the video, I'm going to be making my decision on which is better. So, let's get into it, because this is going to be a good video. So, this is going to be a very tough topic to talk about, because the key of the game is to score a lot of points and win the game, and that's considered offense. So obviously that seems like the clear-cut most important thing. But in order to stop the offense, you need defense. So that is also very important. So this is going to be very hard to choose. Everyone's going to have their own opinions, but let's get straight into it. So first, we're starting off with the offensive side of the game. And now when you think of offense, you think of scoring. And if you want to go a little bit more in depth to scoring, you can think of shooting threes. In particular, when you think of offense, you think of some iconic offensive players like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant. All those guys are known for their amazing offense. Even like Tracy McGrady, all he did was score. But offense is way, way deeper than what you think it is. If you're an offensive-minded player, it doesn't mean you have to score 30-plus points a game. You can be offensive-minded, but make the right passes, take the right shots, know when to drive, when to shoot. So IQ plays a big part as well as playmaking. Let's talk about the 2016-17 Warriors with the best shooter of all time, Steph Curry, the greatest catch-and-shooter of all time, Klay Thompson, and probably the best scorer of all time, Kevin Durant. The reason why their offense flowed so nicely was because they all had three-level scorers, and Steph Curry in particular knew how to make the right passes. They also had a facilitator in Draymond Green who didn't score, but he wasn't terrible at offense because he made the right passes. He knew when to pass when Klay Thompson was open for three, or he knew when to pass to Durant or Steph Curry. But that's an example. Offense is a key piece in basketball. You have to be able to score to win games. And if you can't score, you won't win games. So that's my take for the offensive side of the game. It's very important. It's extremely important. Both sides, I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, offense wins games and defense wins championships. So maybe I guess offense is more for the short term, but you also are going to need it. Like we've seen the Nets this year. They won games with their offense, but they could not win the championship as they lost to the Bucks in 7 games, Milwaukee played great defense in that series. But offense is a key piece. If you don't have offense, you can't do anything. Same thing with defense. That's my take on offense. Now we're talking about the defensive side of the game. And you know how I said earlier, if you can't score, then you won't win. So that makes offense important. Well, that's the exact same thing with defense. If you can't play defense, the worst players on the other team are going to get buckets. And even if you play the greatest offense, you won't win games. So in order to be a great defender, you're going to have to play as a team. Like, one player can't be a good defender to make the whole team good at defense. Like, for example, if you're going to talk about, I don't know, I can't think of a team, but you have to be a team defend. Like, offense, you can have one player running the show, but defense has to be a team effort. All positions 1 through 5 have to be playing good defense in order to be an elite defensive team. Like, if you want to talk about the Lakers in 2018, or no, we're going to do the Raptors in 2019. Like, if you do the Raptors, Kyle Lowry was an okay defender. Like, he still excelled for a point guard. Danny Green was a great 3-and-D guy. Obviously, you had a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in Kawhi Leonard. And Pascal Siakam, a little bit below average. And Marc Gasol was really good on the defensive end. He got the blocks. And though the Raptors were not the best offensive team that year, they were the best defensive team that year. And if you're going to look at the 2020 Lakers, they weren't the best offensive team, but they were the best defensive team. And now this year, the Suns and the Bucks, whoever wins, in the regular season, they were both top 5 in defense. They were up high on offense, but they weren't anything crazy. So, the saying defense wins championships, it is true if you go really deep into statistics. Like, the Warriors, they weren't really good defensively when they had their reign, but the Cavaliers were pretty good at defense, and the Heat were pretty good. They were okay when they won the title. The Spurs were amazing, and the Mavericks were eh. But if you notice, with all of these teams, they also had great offenses as well. So there's a reason why offense and defense are both played by teams. There is a reason why all teams try to play offense and defense. It's because they're both so important at their own things. So it's going to be very hard to choose a winner. There is no clear-cut winner. You really need offense to win games. But if your offense is stopped by the defense, that technically makes defense more important. But if your defense isn't stopping the other team's offense, then that makes offense more important. So there's no clear-cut winner by any means. Like, nobody should be saying it's offense and with 100% confidence, or nobody should be saying it's defense with 100% confidence. They're gonna have some doubts. Now, I feel like you can get more out of the defensive end, but when you think of basketball, you think of offense. So this is still very tough on what to choose, what's better, but I am gonna go with defense on this. And my reason is, you can be more impactful on defense than offense. We've seen this year in many different teams, the Nets being the most obvious one, where they would score 140 points, but their team would also put up 140 points. Where if you have a good defense, though you score 120, the other team only scores 90. So I think defense has more impact on the game, therefore making the statement true that offense wins games, but defense wins championships. Now, if you see, you could tell that I paused the voiceover because I was going to go with offense, but I had to stop and think about it. And now that I think about it, defense seems like it matters a little bit more, a tiny bit more. Anybody can make an argument about it. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think. But that's wrapped my video, guys. This was relatively short for such a big topic, but we'll see you in the next video. Go with